are going to call the meeting to order for the Planning Commission and Board of Adjustments on Tuesday, April 14th, 2026. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance, so all rise. I pledge the allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And we'll move on to doing a roll call. Jerry, if you could conduct that for us.
Ayers. Here. Brisbane.
Here.
Weaver.
Here.
Tice.
Here. Here.
Zerden.
All right, thank you. And we'll start with an open forum. If there's anyone here that is not on the agenda but would like to share, please approach the podium, state your name and address, and feel free to speak. And not seeing anyone approaching, we'll go ahead and close the open forum and move on to approval of the March 10th, 2026 Planning Commission and Board of Adjustment meeting minutes. Does anyone have any changes or a motion to approve?
I'll motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is passed. And we'll move on to the public hearing for conditional use application C26003, Timothy Holworth, to construct an accessory structure up to 1,600 square feet and up to 20 feet in height. This is located on 31859 Harvest Road, lots 29, 30, 31, block 21, White Birch, 16 parcels 100, 80648, and 100, 80649, located in the R2 zone. So as we open the public hearing, we will start with the applicant presentation. If you would approach the podium, state your name and address, and walk us through your application.
Tim Horvath, 31859 Harvest Road. It's pretty straight ahead. I'm doing an addition on my current garage, which when I spoke with Jerry originally, that was a no-brainer. It could have been an over-the-counter. On my accessory building, I wanted to go slightly larger to the 40 by 40. And just to clarify one item, it said to 20 feet. My current drawings that I submitted a plan is a 612 pitch, and that would come to 22 feet. I don't know if that is of issue. If it is, I could lower the pitch to a 512, which would bring it to 20 foot 4 inches, which would be pretty darn close to if the 612 wouldn't be acceptable. The 612 in Minnesota on a regular Minnesota winter, I think is more amenable to runoff of snow and that sort of thing, and it also would match the pitch of my existing house. But that's not a deal breaker for me in any way, shape, or form. Like I said, I could go down to the 512. Our desire is to, I just got married last June, this is my wife Ginger. We're combining our homes and all of our toys, and apparently my house was too much like a man's house. And so there's a list of requirements that come with that, and that's kind of was the onset of building this extra structure and the extra garages. Other than that, I'm just open for questions. One other item is, it is our desire, obviously, to make it attractive. Our home is gray and whites, and the structure I was going to do in gray metals, probably a black roof. I've got to get that past my designer. But again, keeping the color scheme in line, and I'm also setting the building closer to my home and closer to my neighbor's house. I don't want to be that tight. We like our tree buffer the way our lots are set up. So as far as anything that would be detrimental to the appearance of the neighborhood, it's just absolutely not going to be. Other than that, I'm just open for any questions you may have or concerns.
I think you can get by with a 612 because it's midway on the peak, right?
I am not, number one, I don't want to be responsible for interpreting the height on the plan.
Okay.
number two, the maximum height that is allowable anywhere for an accessory structure
Is
in a residential district is 20 feet. So
No,
the
yeah,
20
that's
feet becomes the maximum to the midpoint of the roof.
right, he's
Oh.
not gonna get that.
Well, I'm gonna be just fine then,
Yeah.
at the 612.
You'll be like 17, 18 feet, right?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, then I'm well within the rules.
I like the look of the building, cause it's only got 12-foot sidewalls, I'm just commenting, instead of 14 or 16, and it's not, you know, it's a nice
Yeah,
looking building.
I'm not an RV guy, never gonna be, but I wanted it large enough that I'm into motorcycles.
Okay,
And so I can drive my trailer inside the garage and do my things on the trailer and be able to put in a 10-foot tall garage door is all I really need. And I don't wanna have to heat a barn,
yeah,
so.
and looks like all the setbacks are good, so.
The impervious coverage is good, and I did, all the well and septic inspections, all of that's been taken care of. I do have to conjoin that lot, and we held off. If I didn't, get the permit we want, then left me more options with that property. And so I'm aware of the fact that I do have to conjoin that lot to my existing.
Do you plan on putting any lights on any of the sides of the building?
I actually have, my grandfather sold Studebakers, and I have one of his lot lights, old sodium lot light that I've saved for forever to put on my building. I'm gonna have that one light over that door, and then there would be a carriage light. And I'm planning on doing a light on the walkway between my existing home and that. But other than that, no uplighting, no, just that one security light.
Got it.
I've been carrying that damn light around for about 40 years.
Does anyone have other questions? All right, thank you.
Yeah.
And moving on to staff review.
Again, this is conditional use application C 26003. The applicant is Timothy Horvath. Address is 31859 Harvest Road. The legal description is lot 29, 30, and 31 of block 21 of White Birch 16. The zoning of the property is R2. Applicable city code is 153.032, medium density residential R2. The request is to construct a detached accessory structure up to 1,600 square feet, 15 to 20 feet in height. Applicant has submitted the application for conditional use to construct detached accessory structure, and property is zoned R2. The existing property is 2 parcels made up of 3 platted lots. Excuse me, the property currently hosts a dwelling with an attached garage. The lots are proposed to be consolidated. Findings: upon review of a conditional use application, the commission needs to consider the findings as required under section 153.119E. In review, the commission shall state whether or not the finding is acceptable towards granting the CUP if applicable. The following finding must be met. The use or the development is an appropriate conditional use in the land use zone. The property is zoned R2 and the request is appropriate under section 153.044. The use or the development with conditions conforms to the comprehensive land use plan. The use with conditions is compatible with the existing neighborhood, and the use with conditions would be injurious to the public health, safety, welfare, decency, order, comfort, convenience, appearance, or prosperity of the city. The following, there's a list of other considerations that should be considered, and I won't read those. Applicant has filed the appropriate application for a CUP. The applicant has paid the appropriate fee. Public notice of the use hearing was published in the legal notes paper and given to property owners within 350 feet. The public hearing is being held on Tuesday, April 14th, 2026. Staff has reviewed the following: the site plan, the CUP application, building code compliance. Section 153.032C1, accessory structures cumulative up to 1,600 square feet on parcels less than 2 acres. 153.032C3, accessory structure in height of 15 to 20 feet in height. Accessory structure is an appropriate conditional use in this R2 zone. The following may be appropriate conditions for the approval of CUP. Applicant shall obtain a building permit for the principal and accessory structure. Applicant shall comply with all setback requirements. Siding and roofing of principal structure and accessory structure shall be of similar material. All structures shall comply with state building code. Height of accessory structure shall not exceed 20 feet. Accessory structure shall not exceed 1,600 square feet, and the parcels must be consolidated.
Thank you. Anyone have questions?
Just one, that addition to the existing garage, that's not
That's not an issue. That would be considered just a standard building permit because it's it's an addition to the principal structure.
so is there any, I can't remember, is square foot of garage, can you have so many square feet or what?
The only thing that's regulated by our ordinance is the square footage, cumulative square footage of accessory structures. It does not regulate the amount of square footage for a principal structure.
Okay, I kind of was trying to read it. Kind of figured out the height thing.
It seems like all the conditions are met and they're aware that parcels would need to be consolidated, so.
And they wouldn't get a permit till that's consolidated, correct? As long as we have it in the conditions.
We would not issue a permit unless it's consolidated, quite frankly, because it would be an illegal structure then.
Yeah. Okay.
It looks like the other 3 structures are to be removed. Is that accurate? It says TBR, and so I'm assuming that that's what that means.
I think the applicant could,
Those are 2 temporary round tops.
Yep.
That's too man-like. They're on their way out,
Okay.
so. They did put to be removed. I got a teeny little chicken coop. It's like 3 by 3.
I see that here too.
That's gonna get, shifted, but that will stay.
Okay.
I had one quick question. Materials to be similar. Is it of any issue if the accessory building is metal sided? It does need to be cord or log siding like my home. We're gonna stay in the color scheme.
in the past, we've stipulated colors being similar. Necessarily wood stick versus metal, it doesn't really make any difference as long as the colors are similar.
Thank you.
Any other staff review questions? All right, then we will move on to public input. If there's anyone that I can't see that's hiding somewhere that would like to come up to the podium to state any questions, feel free.
I think it's a great idea.
Then we're going to close the public input and move to close the public hearing portion of this and have staff discussion here. So following a conditional use permit, they've met all the findings that need to be met as listed. And the suggestions for the parcels to be consolidated, adding that on, seems like that's kind of a no-brainer anyways, that would be required. So is there anything else anyone feels that we would need to add to the conditions?
No. I think the 1 through 7 pretty much covers it all.
Yeah. And saying that, does anyone want to make a motion?
I guess I'll make a motion to approve C-26003 with the conditions 1 through 7 included, and in particular, number 7, but all, 1 through 7, so.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion has passed. And then we'll be moving on to consider the final approval for CIC Plat Eagle View Storage.
This is, this is a follow-up of the last meeting that we had where you approved a conditional use permit to create a CIC, Common Interest Community Plat for a storage unit. This is a replat of 4 existing platted lots located close to Eagleview School, adjacent to the Narvesen storage units. This would be the final time that the planning commission would look at it. We've reviewed the plat. It is really not any different than the proposal that was in front of you a month ago. So staff would recommend final approval of this plat. Your recommendation will go to the city council for their final decision.
So I assume, do we need to make a motion to approve moving it to city council? Is that
Actually, just
basically it?
make a motion to approve the plat itself, or the final plat.
Do we,
I would make that motion.
do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. And moving on to staff reports.
I had anticipated that there was going to be a resident here this evening to talk to you in open forum. But I'll try and relay the concern, and hopefully I can get some guidance from you folks. I put on the desk a copy of a map, and that map indicates a parcel of property that is across from, actually it's kind of across the street from this final plat that you've just approved. And it's east of Eagleview, a little bit along County Road 37. It's a residential property. These folks have a food truck that they've been running during the winter time in Florida. And they brought this food truck to Minnesota for the winter, for the summer. And they take it to different festivals around and different places around, but they sometimes have food orders that they would prepare out of this food truck at their residence. And people would come and pick up those orders.
Funny you should say that. It looked like it was going today.
This is yellow.
Yeah.
Yellow looks like a Schwann's.
It looks like an old schwanz. Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
so I
sorry.
really didn't know how to address it. There really isn't anything in the ordinance that addresses it. The closest thing I could think of was if they were going to do something like that, it was gonna be a commercial activity of some sort, is that it might qualify as a home occupation. That said, I did, for your information, also include a copy of the home occupation ordinance that we have, which limits the number of limits the amount of traffic to, I believe, 10 round trips per day. So I'm looking for some kind of guidance as far as whether it's something that we even allow to happen over there, or is it, are we interested in pursuing it as a home occupation? And if so, let them submit the application. The little that I know of it, you know as much as I do about this operation at this time. I was hoping they were going to be here, and I encouraged them to come, but they evidently slipped their mind.
How did this come to attention? Were people reporting this and saying this is a concern?
The resident, the owners of the food truck, basically gave me a phone call and asked me if we were gonna do this, how do we do it?
Okay.
It's kind of good that they came forward.
Yeah.
Like today, it looked like the truck was open and there was a couple vehicles there, and I thought, well, maybe you can go up there and get a taco or something, but
My concern is this,
the traffic,
yeah, typically we allow those food trucks that are around to operate in commercial zoning districts. This is a district that is urban reserve
On County Road 11.
on County Road 11,
kind
yes.
of a goofy intersection, or
Yeah, that's where I get into a real issue, because typically a home occupation isn't supposed to generate traffic. And if they're going to operate that, or proposed, and I don't know if they're gonna try to do this, is proposed to operate that food truck out of that location on a regular basis, I think we've got some
yeah.
traffic issues.
I would agree. I think it would there's enough that we've had just in meetings here of concern of traffic on that road, in particular by schools and things like that. So I could see that being,
Then right across will be 6 more buildings with some traffic from that.
and I know,
That's coming off of a already improved street.
Right, but it goes on to 11.
I understand that, but it's somewhat more controlled there than would it come off of a driveway.
The same road as that daycare?
No, it's the same one as the bank.
Yeah, and the new storage units we just
Yeah.
approved.
And then Narvesen is to our capital, or whatever, is to the east.
but I do think, that is a residential area, and a food truck to me, is a commercial operation. And I think there are places in Breezy that they could go, just because I think was it Chris Collin last year had the pizza food truck there a few times? And that probably was good for his business, drawing people, attention to that. So I think there might be options to put it somewhere located more in a commercial zone where speeds are appropriate for traffic. That would be my thoughts anyways, that they would probably need to, if they did approach this as a home occupation, we'd probably have to limit it to a certain amount of traffic and hours and that kind of thing.
The other thing kind of could happen is if you allowed this to happen there, what's to stop having food trucks in all the residential districts?
I don't wanna run one.
Well, you don't have time, Teddy, but
How do you?
We'll be working
Yeah, exactly. How do you interpret in E? It says retail sales will be allowed only of products manufactured. And this is kind of like a general question. Does it need to be reworded now that we're bringing in? Only that we brought this up made me think. I mean, you could, obviously, the law and code is gray, so depending on how you're gonna argue it.
well, I think you probably like the grayness a little bit,
Right.
quite frankly. I could construe that you're manufacturing
Food.
sandwiches and food and whatever and putting it together and making it into something. So
Right.
I think that'll fit that.
Okay,
I just have a more concern about
traffic.
traffic in one place versus the other.
And it is a residential home, you know, that's,
There's really no turn lane. I mean, there is no turn, and then it's got that, if you turn in by, let's say if you're coming from the west going east, there's no turn lane into the bank.
No.
It's really no bypass lane of people. You could go around.
Not legally, you can't,
No. 'Cause
because the other lane going westbound is a turn lane for the school.
I'm just curious, does the city have a food truck licensing, anything like that where, I mean, if they wanted to park by the park and have a taco truck, is there anything preventing them from doing so?
The only thing that prevents them is that we want them to happen in the commercial districts, commercially zoned areas.
Okay, so city hall or the city park would
And-
not be considered,
Again, most of that is private property, is they would need permission from the owner to do that. Unless, the owner has his own food truck, that
Yeah.
per se. But, that would prevent it from happening to the park.
okay.
You would need permission from the city to do something like that.
So like with the air show or the aviation days, not air show, there's potentially food trucks there. Is that because it's a private airstrip that they're saying, yep, we're approving this for this use?
Well, some of those properties are in commercially zoned areas, so I think that follows through. The other part of that is if you have, how do I say, you have to be tolerant of some of those political activities that are happening.
Do you think the county would have any restrictions on that coming off a county road like that?
Well, I'm sure eventually they'd probably say something about it coming onto an individual driveway. The county would probably rather have that come off of a controlled access intersection.
They couldn't set up at like the public boat landing, no, that's,
It's not commercial.
That's private property also.
I mean, they'd have to talk to the resort or something like that from a commercial standpoint, like, hey, can you have a food truck on the golf
I
course?
believe that's city property also.
I was gonna add the boat landing where you park your boat trailer up, is that the city or that's the city?
Cities.
That's what I thought.
Well, if you're asking for more, like, my thought is that's residential, there's gonna be concerns. If they did approach it as a home occupation, it's gonna be limited visitors, guests, however you wanna phrase that. That might not make it attractive for them. If we said up to 10, then that's probably not.
I don't think it would fall under home occupancy, just based on the traffic and the
That's what I
manufacturing.
mean, we'd have to limit it so it wouldn't fit that.
Like there's
I would
hours,
never-
With the buses coming in and out of there and there's a lot of people.
I would never tell anybody they couldn't apply for something like that, quite frankly. But I have enough
Information.
feedback from you as of now to say you can apply, but there's going to be concerns that you have to meet the terms of the ordinance.
Yep.
if they were to just have their food truck there, which it looks like now, but not serve any food, just, they could do that, parking it there, right?
And your comment right now said it was operating today.
Well, you just had the windows open, maybe it was airing it out or whatever, and I thought, well, maybe I'll wing in there and
they
get a taco, but
They could be making stuff and then
heading out,
having it
yeah,
at their house for a big
yeah.
party.
Well, that's, one of the things she told me was that if they operate in Baxter or someplace, that people will come as far as Pine River to pick up food and take it back for something. And she's saying that when they're not operating, maybe people could come to their location to pick up that food when they're not in operation in another community.
That may be what was happening. I mean, I don't wanna say what was happening, it was just,
Well, I was just looking for guidance. I wasn't looking for anything more than to give you a heads up, quite frankly.
Any other staff reports?
Pardon?
Any other staff reports?
That's it.
Any commissioner reports? All right, meeting adjourned.